in many, many ways. So those are the essences. There's around 172 of those, and they're fantastic in many ways, but they had to come through first. But since 2012, and 2012 was the key year, the gods and the goddesses have been coming through. And the reason is very simple. We're in a process of deep transformation in our earthly lives. And that transformation is coming out of the dark age, when there's been a lot of evil energies in the world. There's been a lot of dark energies that have really held humanity down. There's been a huge amount of suffering in the human race for many reasons, not just health, but every form of psychological, emotional, spiritual, physical suffering has been going through because of these dark energies. And the divine beings have said enough. The human race had to learn the value of the light, which we have done. And now, since 1988, actually, when the black ray, which was a major energy of evil, which had a lot to do with what was going on before that time, stopped, and the ceasing of the black ray then meant that the light could start coming through. And that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing through that light. And so, first of all, the essences came, now the gods and goddesses. And the whole process kicked off in Japan, actually, in the year 2012, when I went to the center of the Japanese Shinto faith, a place called Ise. And now, those of you that have been to Japan will know that Ise is quite near a place called Nagoya. You go from Tokyo to Nagoya, then you take the train out to Ise. And Ise is full of shrines, and these Japanese shrines are very sacred places. And the most sacred of all the Japanese goddesses, the highest one, is called Amaterasu. And Japan is a goddess culture, and she was the first goddess to be made. And basically what happened was, I went to the shrine of Amaterasu right at the beginning, before I did any teaching in Japan at that time. And they opened the inner temple for me, which is something that's almost unheard of, that the inner temple should be opened for a foreigner. But they opened the inner temple and then amazed me by making a special ceremony to bless my work with the sea and butterfly essences, because they were tuned in and they knew that I was bringing the divine will and the divine energy down to the earth. So they gave me a big blessing. And as they blessed me, so the goddesses were initiated right in the center of the temple of Amaterasu. That goddess was with me. I call her Sahula, and she is the female power strength goddess from the solar planes. And she was with me, and she said, now we are initiating the goddesses. And it was 3 years later, when I was teaching my first teacher's course in Japan, since going out by myself away from Orosoma. That was when the teachers then requested, we'd like goddess essences. And I said, well, let me talk to the goddesses. And they said, no, we want to have elixirs. We want to have something that's a very precious thing, more than an essence, because an elixir is a precious liquid, something beyond value, which has the divine goddess energy, but a whole range of other energies as well. And so the whole process of making the goddesses started with that teacher's course in 2015, but was initiated in the temple of Amaterasu in 2012. And it was actually 2016 that I started the process of bringing through the goddess elixirs. But every single path of that process came together perfectly, because it was all in the divine plan. You see, everything that I'm doing now has been planned from above. I'm simply following a map or a plan that's been made. And so each of these goddesses and gods have come as part of the divine plan to support us, to uplift us, and to bring us to a much better place in our lives. And Catherine said just a couple of things. Well, I've had multitudinous experiences with the gods and goddesses, and I have a lot of feedback from people too, saying what wonderful changes they have made in their lives and how they've really helped them. And we still, we still sell so many gods and goddess elixirs because people like them so much, because people want them so much. So what I want to do now is to introduce you to the set of gods and goddesses and to give you some information about them, but also we could have a little feel of one or two of them. I think we'll probably choose one goddess and actually one god, and I'll see if I can send the energies through to you. And if you have that god or goddess, which Catherine might, then you could give yourself a small spray of it as well, because I'd like you to get a little bit of a feel for their energies at this time. Okay, so let me start at the beginning. Start with the goddess Amateras. Now, each goddess was given to correspond to one of our chakras. And if I can just flash back to this diagram, we have 7 chakras on 7 planes of being. And there are 7 chakras in the divine figure as well. Now, there are a total of 13 planes of being, or 13 chakras, not 14. And the reason is that our crown chakra is the base chakra of the divine. In other words, the divine creation joins our creation in the sun itself. Now, the sun, from a physical point of view, appears to be burning hydrogen. It is actually not. The sun appears like flame, but it's full of energy. And the energy, it is the energy of life itself. And that energy has come to us from the center of the earth, from Om, but it's been at such a high frequency, we couldn't feel it. And there's a being in the center of the sun called the solar logos, and he steps down those energies, those life rays, those cosmic rays, and he steps it down to a frequency that we can feel as heat and light. That's why the sun feels hot and it's very light. And the reason is not because it's burning fire, but it's because it's very intense life energy. And it's the intensity of the life energy that then comes back to us from the sun, gives everybody life. We don't use the energy, but it passes through us, giving us life, passes back through our feet, it goes into Gaia, the Earth Mother, and then back to Om in the center of the earth. And then it's transformed again and actually flows again. I did a little diagram here just to give some idea there. There's this energy flow. There's the sun, there is the earth, and the energy is flowing from the earth to the sun, and from the sun to the earth, and from the sun to all the other planets in our solar system. And every solar system itself is a mini creation. And there are, at the moment, 4,130,000 inhabited solar systems, soon to be joined by another 800,000 of them in what's going to be called the 13th universe. But the secret of creation is that every solar system is a creation in itself. It is its own miniature creation. So just as each cell of your body is a miniature you, because in every cell of your body, vibrationally, you have the image of the whole of you. And the same principle goes with creation. So our solar system is a miniature creation, and each solar system has got a divine planet, and it so happens that the divine planet in our solar system is Earth, and that's why we have this special water-based life, and we are water-based life beings. And of course, the oceans play a big part in our life upon the earth. That's why the sea essences and the dolphin and whale essences are very important to us here actually upon the earth. So starting with Amatera, she is our base chakra, and she is a goddess that brings power and energy to us on a physical plane. The Japanese call her the goddess that shines, Amaterasu, and she is the one that shines in the heavens, and her energy is about radiating who you are in the world. And she's very strengthening, she's healing, she's supportive, she's very good for work situations where you really want success and you want strength and power to do what you need to upon this earth. And she comes with a deep gold, because the gold is representing the golden thread through which the female brings the spirit down from the divine planes down into the human form, and it comes through the golden thread. So her color is gold, not red. But the gods, they have the conventional chakra colors, but they represent the chakras of the divine beings. So the goddesses are connecting with us and our creation, our 7 chakras, but the gods are connecting with the 7 chakras of the divine beings, and the god elixirs will activate us and our higher chakras in the divine sense. So the god elixirs hold a huge potential for our future development. So we start, okay, base chakra, Amaterasu. Sacral chakra is Aisha. Now she is silver, and she connects with the moon, and the full moon is a time of great healing. We had a full moon just a couple of nights ago, and it was a very, very healing time. And the properties of Aisha is she's the most healing goddess. So for any type of ailment, any sickness, any healing need you have, Aisha is absolutely wonderful. She will support any healing process. And she's also very cleansing. She has the scent of Melissa, which is a very uplifting and cleansing perfume. Amaterasu has the scent of bergamot, which is a vitalizing perfume. And then we have the goddess Kaya. Now Kaya is very, very special to me because she is Divine Mother. She is the partner of Om, and she is the most, you could say she is the highest and most sacred of all the goddesses, because she is the source of all womanhood. She is the source of femininity. And her energy, as you might imagine, is pure love. And she represents the solar plexus chakra. And Kaya's energy is very much of emotional support. And she has a beautiful scent of rose. And rose is a very feminine scent, very uplifting, especially to all women and girls, and is very supportive of all female body functions. So it's a very, very important elixir. And Kaya is particularly, let's say, she is particularly important in the world right now because she brings a great deal of healing to the emotions. After there's been so much abuse, so much torture and trauma in the world, Kaya is very healing and de-traumatizing and uplifting. Okay. Then Izanami Now, you'll find that she's got a Japanese name, and she has. The reason is the Japanese initiated the goddesses. So out of honor to them, I call the first goddess by the Japanese name Amaterasu, and the fourth goddess by the Japanese name too. And Izanami is a goddess of the heart chakra, and she is very much supportive of the heart in every way. She is the goddess of the timeline. She can help us with all issues about past and future lives. She is very uplifting to us creatively, because all our creative energies come through the heart chakra. She's also helps a lot of people out of fear. Fear is a major problem in our world right now. And the olive green color is a color which is healing of fear. And her energy is very healing for fears, especially connected with this life and future lives and past lives. And it's a very, very important essence. And in Japan, she's known as the oldest goddess. She is the one that's older than any other goddess. Then the goddess Suma, she represents the throat chakra. And she has a beautiful scent. Oh yeah, her scent is lemongrass, and her scent is geranium. Now, those of you that know the different flower scents know that geranium is very balancing. It's a very balancing scent. And Suma is a very high goddess. She's the Omnirani. That means she's the female creator of the whole omniverse. And her energy is very harmonizing. The key to her energy is harmony. And she's the most important goddess for relationships. So whereas we have the sea essences, which are wonderful for healing specific relationship problems, the overlighting goddess for relationship healing is Suma. And Suma helps so many people with so many different difficult situations, when you need guidance, when you need strength, when you need to find your direction in life. Suma is a key goddess. She is absolutely fantastic. And the goddesses say, don't use us like an essence. Don't say 3 times a day, blah, blah, blah. Use us when you feel like it. When you feel drawn to a goddess, that is the goddess either drawing you or your spirit guide drawing you to that goddess to say, right, now is the time that you need it. So trust your intuition, trust your instinct, and say, right, if you're drawn to Suma, use her then at that time, because you need her. And this is how the goddesses work. They will call to you when they know that you need them, but your spirit guide knows which one of them you need, so they will help you to reach out to get the right goddess. So she is very important for harmony personally, and in relationships, and in sorting out our earthly lives. And then the goddess Alina, who is brow chakra, she is what I call the fun goddess. She's full of fun. She's very antidepressive. She's happy. She's uplifting. She is very zappy, and she's also a smart goddess. She is good for really getting your mind working, for getting yourself operational on many levels. She's a fantastic, smart goddess, and very, very important. And she has a lovely scent of ylang-ylang. So I'm just skimming through them now, because obviously when we do a course, you'll know them in much more detail, but this is just a quick intro now, okay? Now, the crown chakra goddess is called Vimea, and she is in an aquamarine bottle. Aquamarine is chosen for her because aquamarine is the color of the higher portion of the heart chakra, and is something I've got on now. This is aquamarine, because aquamarine for me is about living your sacred reality, opening your sacred space. And that's what she does. She is the most powerful goddess. She's the most powerful divine goddess, and she opens up your sacred space, and she helps you to live your sacred reality upon the earth. So it's all about creating beauty, sacredness, sanctity in life, dignity, all the higher qualities of what it is to be a human being, what it is to be a female or to be a male. She is that goddess, and she is a wonderful goddess to meditate with. You'll find her is fantastic on that score, but also she's great for dealing with major issues of life which cause fear, such as we've been experiencing this year with COVID-19, when there are major fears, when people are afraid for their lives and that kind of thing. She is very health-giving and restorative. And her partner is the first god. Her partner is the god Ristilla. And he came through in February this year. And he comes through with a scent of pine. And he is the most powerful god, and she is the most powerful goddess. And they form unity on the solar planes. They're the link point between our creation and the divine creation. He links with the divine creation, she links with our creation. And his energy is very powerful and strengthening. If ever you're in fear, if ever you're in turmoil about anything, if ever you are in a real dilemma or pain about anything, his energy is really fantastic. I found that the moment I used his energy, all my complexes, my insecurities, my anxieties, my fears just went. And he gives you a real sense of security in this world, as does Vimea, but his in a more overt way, in the way that gods have a more overt energy and the goddesses have a more hidden energy. He brings this wonderful energy of inner security, inner strength, because that's what he does as a god. And then the second god that came along was in May this year was Eli. And Eli is referred to in the Bible. If you read the Old Testament, you'll hear God referred to as Eli, because Eli was known to a lot of the people in the biblical times. And Eli is the goddess of power from the solar planes. He's partner to Amaterasu, because she is the power goddess of the solar planes, and he's the power god of these planes. And he brings strength, he brings energy, he brings fitness. So he's healing from an energetic point of view, but he's very strengthening. Anything where you need more physical strength, more energy, more ability to do things, more power in your earthly life, he's your man, he is your god, and he's fantastic. And he has the energy, he has the scent of cedarwood. And then the newest god is called Ballet. He came along only this year in August, and he is the highest love god. And he comes from the second divine plane, so he comes from right up at the top here, and he is the highest love god, whereas Ristilla is the highest power god. So he brings great qualities of love and creativity and upliftment. He brings tremendous peace, tremendous well-being, and many people love his energy. He comes with the scent of ginger, which is quite an unusual scent, and it's absolutely lovely. So what I'd like to do, because here's the last one. Now, the sort of new one, I won't talk about him yet because he's not out yet. He is called Alina, but he will be out in 2 weeks' time. And he's the heart goddess of the divine, well, he's the heart god of the divine planes. But I thought, because of time, because we're quite tight on time, I'd like to share with you some of Balay's energy, because it's a tremendous energy of well-being. So I thought we could have just a quiet little meditation now and just ask him just to touch us with his energy, because his love is very restorative, and it's a very important love energy in the world. Okay,